Good evening, everyone. This is GW31979 here. Before I go any further, I'd like to give out two shout-outs. This one knows I think I thanked him, but I can't thank him enough. Thank you, Pastor Iron Ball, for promoting me from being a deacon to a co-pastor. I am deeply in gratitude of this promotion, and I will carry it like a beacon of hope for all melanated brothers out there. So thank you. And yes, I will, because I've been busy with like doing dual trucks overnights at my job, so unloading. So I'm going to try to get in touch with you hopefully sometime not this Thursday night when I get home. It'll probably be too late in New York. So I'll probably try to do it to you, try getting a hold of you sometime around the afternoon or early in the morning on Friday, because I'm off usually on Fridays and Saturdays. So I'll try to get in touch with you then if I don't have time to get in touch with you sometime this Thursday. But thank you. And the next shout out will go to Truth is Freedom. He sent me a lovely message and a blog, and I'm going to read it to you. Hopefully I have time. Material content. Bear with me, people, because this is going to be a long video. And I hope this is for black men only. This is for black men only. Before I go any further with this video, sorry, I'm eating. The videos always pertain to mainly black men and, Hispanic men and even Asian men and Middle Eastern men. From now on, that's what all my videos go to be from now on. No offense to white males. You're welcome to watch my shit. Don't get me wrong. You're welcome to watch it. Just be advised. I say 9 out of 10 of my videos you cannot even relate. Either though you go through the exact same rhetoric as us indigenous black American men, indigenous Hispanics, as well as Asians. Yes, Asians go through this rhetoric. If you live in America, you going through it. I don't want to hear that bullshit. Middle Eastern go through it all the time, including Lebanese men and Afghanistan man. My problem is, I try to incorporate to try to wake you guys up. I incorporate you with our struggles, and hopefully you have some form of empathy. Not saying that all white men have this problem, but if you want to listen, be advised. And I always like to give a disclaimer. It's not going to be the faith in heart. I say this to accidentally the black dudes that subscribe to my channel. I say it to them too. And there are cases where they don't disagree with my video. I'm not here to spew our opinions. This is facts, and it's time to deal with facts. I don't have time for philosophy debates. Okay? Philosophy should only come in when there's a solution that needs to be addressed. That's it. That's it. We need to put in solutions. I'm going to tell you how we got there. That being said, the name of the title of this video. Alright, give me a moment. The name and title of this video will be Black Male Children of Psychopathic Women. Cause and effect for men with psychopathic mothers. Now, believe it or not, this could pertain to you, white men. Oh yeah, this could pertain to you. I was raised in a black church, so I think this photo is fitted. I don't believe in some grand purpose. I believe in doing the will of Yahweh and having a rich relationship with our Father. I believe Jesus died and was resurrected so we could be saved. So we could be saved, sorry. I don't believe anything we do can save us. And it goes on with, Romans 3:28. For those that are familiar with the Bible, it basically says, now with that saved, we have built our house upon solid foundation, and now that the Holy Spirit can quicken out spirits with endurance and faith to overcome the temptations we face daily. Serving our God with fear and trembling. I pray that these blog posts bless you and give you validity to what you have seen and experienced. I will be writing exclusively about the taboo subject that exists in the shadows of the ghetto. Ghetto is a Jewish word, sir. But I digress. It's really, we don't live in the ghettos. We live in hoods. And not all of us, actually, most blacks don't live in hoods. You referring to like the shadows of the urban, impoverished, and the city sections? Okay. It is important that I write this form to black perspective because it is our culture dharmas that feed the psychopath. Thank you. How bent the Most High dwell not in temples made with hands, as Saint the Prophet, Acts 7:48. Okay. I hate reading fucking perverts. That's all I have to tell you. Did childhood emotional or psychological ramifications take place? Okay, emotional. Did one or both parents take time to explain their adult issues to you? My mother did, not my father. Did you try to resist their efforts? Did they lay their sob story on you further, or did they become livid? I say a combination of both for me. This was twofold attack. It taught you feelings were invalid, and it taught you to empathize without discernment by the use of shame and guilt. This rears its head with the droves of racially motivated marches and riots. That's true. See, I understand the premise of Black Lives Matter. Yes, I do. I understand that foundation. I don't understand the fucking marches. Marches didn't got shit solved back then, and it didn't got shit solved today. This can manifest itself in dating world by the way of the hyperbolic emotional displays that most black men must sit through. The whole point is to break the black man's will, thus causing him to aim low and never gain independence. You see, that is true right there. When black women get a kick out of when black men are down on their luck. I've seen cases when I was growing up. Black men, young, handsome looking, attractive black men, have to aim low. Doesn't matter if he aimed low with another low-class black woman. And doesn't matter what shade, skin, pigmentation she is either. Or a low-class white woman. Same thing. Same goes on with Hispanics. Same thing goes on with Latinas. Long as black women have the validation of being happy, and they use this as a carrot dangling, stick with a carrot dangling on at the end, talk to the donkey to make the donkey work harder. See, black men are mules for the amusement and entertainment. We have a hard time being individuals because think about it. You get attacked by your own woman. On top of it, you get attacked by people that don't look like you. It's bad to be individual. You should think as a collective. They don't want you to have individuality and incorporate your own free will and free think. They don't want you to be an independent free thinker. They don't want you to ask questions. They shame black men like me. I have to go through with the shame. Because I didn't fall for that trap. So I dealt with the criticism of the fact that why you always aim high when it comes to women. Any self-respected man that's a very attractive man and very successful, especially when he is growing up, gonna be reared and taught to aim high, not low. And lucky thing, my counteract was the males within, my family and outside my family that taught me and reared me to aim high, not low. Black women, on the other hand, they have that potential, they choose not to use it. They use the black male low-ranking behavior as a forefront to point out the right of refusal. Like, I gotta give Tito the Fresh on that. Black women always want to be the first line to refuse you when you're down on your luck. When you're up on your luck and getting your shit together, that's when they want to come to you when they're all worn out. And they expect you not to have the right refusal. First and foremost, black women and North American women or westernized women out there in general. This pertains to you idiots in Western Europe with this practice. Anyone on this planet has the right of refusal. Just be warned that when you practice that practice, it's going to come right back and bite you in the ass. Goes on further. Okay. Furthermore, many of those so-called movements are run by women. You remember I said my video, black men and fellas out there, SYS, BM, don't fall for the gift of gab. If you haven't seen that video, go watch that video right now and then come back to this video if you had time. Because that video would explain everything. But I suffer not a woman to teach nor to usurp authority over the man, but be in silence. 1 Timothy 2:12. There are some truth with some of the scriptures if you look at it. Okay, physical. The manifests itself in many forms, usually traits of them all exist in one way or another. For many of my classmates in this manifested in a group, in growing to pay bills and dealing with debt collectors regularly. Many young women I knew were guilty into taking on jobs at a young age when they should have grown up and enjoyed life. Oh, I know plenty of young women like that. One of many reasons I believe black women work so hard to top the black men because they got an early start. They seen many reasons. They seen their slothful mothers doing nothing to progress them from a welfare state or a low wage job. See, that's why I tell people black women might brag so much about degrees as an accomplishment, but they still get those degrees that don't have no financial merit. And they take low wage or low salary base positions. But just a wave they shitty ass, shit stained degree on how you are not better than them. You are less than them. They learn from their mother's mouth to hate black men but respect the white man because he is the authority figure. And so they have a deep-seated resentment when they see you on the same playing field that they are. That's true. I went through this plenty of times. Before I started my new job, and before I started my last job, before I went to my new job, I went through this with a middle-aged, hell-bent, emotional, overweight, mentally disturbed, alcoholic black woman working at a small company firm. And let me tell you, the firm that I used to work for would have been awesome if it wasn't for an incompetent, insecure Irish woman and an incompetent, insecure, alcoholic, mentally brain dead black woman. My life would have been... I would not even waste my time working at this place I'm working at right now, which is paying me pretty damn well, by the way. That's another topic at another time. They resent you at the workplace. That's all I have to tell you. And matter of fact, if you're not white, you could be Latino. If you work with a black woman, you're going to have nightmares. If you Asian and you work with a black woman, exact same thing goes with you. The only way you're going to get along with a black woman at the workplace, you have to treat her like a sex pot. For those that don't know what that term means, go look it up. These are the women who refuse to see their mothers for the liar and harlot she is. This is why there are many attractive, highly educated, and lonely straight out of the ghetto. Resentment, envy, and pride are all synonymous. Okay. The inappropriate behaviors know no limits. If your mother was like mine, she often asked for back massages. The mother walks around without a bra on under her t-shirt. I married my aunt, which was disgusting to begin with, but that's what she did. See, the problem with single mothers, because there's a case study like this in Canada where the majority of single motherhood in Canada are white females. And this is why I made a video a while back that stated, and a shout out to, got that buzz name, goddamn. I think it was J Truth the Third, and he said something that made sense. Black men suffer from the Oedipus complex. So does black women. They start sexualizing young black children at a very young age. Predominantly, consciously, not subconsciously. And that's a common practice in Canada for years. Matter of fact, if you're raised by a single mother, you have a high probability to practice rape, pedophilia, commit violent acts or crimes, repeatedly become a repeated offender, and more likely to abuse drugs and commit suicide. Many ghetto psychopathic mothers display inappropriate displays of affection, which are no doubt conscious. Thank you. I just said what I said earlier, and I remember many instances post puberty. This means he was in pre-pubes, where my mother would request to lay her head in my lap while I watched television. Thank goodness my mother never did that shit to me. Thank fucking goodness. Matter of fact, my mother gave me telltale signs what to watch for. And it got to the point that after a while, my mother stopped having me go to my aunt's house, me and my siblings. Especially after the fucked up events that happened, but that's another topic another day. Which I told that to my grandmother, and she acted shocked, and I'm like, look, this is your eldest daughter doing this sick fuckery behavior. How long can you tolerate that? And my mother pointed out. Let's see, where was I? These are varying experiences elicit no genuine response of shame or remorse from these overly sexualized mothers. I remember once explaining to my mother I didn't like her rubbing her feet against mine. Like I said, this is how Oedipus complex starts. Or laying her legs across mine. And she would say, you don't like affection? This is why I made a post about this on Facebook a while back, saying that most black mothers at least experience having sex with her sons. Actually, there were more sexual accounts in foster care, as I went through that horrifying experience, even though it only lasted for 6 months, where it was common that foster black mothers, and yes, for the Hispanic males out there, a lot of Latino women practice that nonsense. It's very degrading and gratifyingly horrifying that these single mothers practice this. You don't like affection, or you will have intimacy problems in your relationship. That's what black women try to do. Is teach their young boys how to have sex. But increments. You're not supposed to teach your children how to have sex. That's your children to decide when they become of age and they're out in the real world on their own. Not in the comfort of a sexually crazed eye bipolar bitch like you. Yeah, okay. Does your mother kiss you on the lips? My mother never did that shit. The clip below may seem funny to the untrained eye, but kissing on the lips always have been and always will be sexual. That's true. A mother and father should kiss their children on the cheek. That's true. You should never kiss your children on the lips. Never. Does your mother have an inability to accept criticism? Ooh. This is the part where my mother had a hard time accepting. And if she was alive, she'd probably still have a difficulty doing it. When faced with her own poor decisions, she defaults to gaslighting. Yes, gaslighting. Look it up, people. Ad hominem attacks or physical violence. Yes, my mother did all three of those stupid shits. She would leave the room and refuse further discourse in an attempt to undermine your logic, which she don't have no logic, and sanity, which she don't have sanity. Because this is the Jezebel spirit, it will manifest the same way for all of us. You could be from California and read a form responsive by someone in New York whose mother exhibits this, the exact same thing, basically. Feminists hate white men until the welfare check comes, and that's true. Until it's time to attend a network event or until they realize they are destined to be an old maid. They boast about their new car, and we vote townhouses across the street from the drugs den nationwide. That's true. Many of these women have never worked a day in their lives. The following is the tax refund amount that some of these mothers get back. How dare you young black men speak out against welfare? Oh, I heard that. Every time I said they should abolish welfare entirely. You want to stimulate the Western economy? Destroy welfare. Get rid of socialism. Nobody. Watch how much butt hurt women. This is including white women as well as black, Hispanic, including Asian women. You live in the United States, a lot of these American women are obsessed with socialism. Because socialism and welfare were not meant for us, it was meant for predominantly white folks that were impoverished. How dare you young black men speak out against welfare? You Uncle Tom, Coon, Sambo, bootlicking dog. I heard all those, and a lot worse, by the way, people. I am not against welfare, which I am, but we know many women who pay little to nothing for rent for 18 plus years, but have the nerve to look down on black men, sons, daughters, and grandchildren. They don't homeschool their children, which you figured that would be the proper thing to do. If you're going to be in welfare for the next 18 years, you could at least homeschool your children. They don't take pride in their children's appearance. No, they do not. They sit at home all day smoking squares and watching soap operas. Minimum credit amounts. Oh, okay. Maximum credit amounts. Alright, the maximum amount of credit for tax year 2014 is $6,143 with 3 children or more qualified. Yeah, 3 or more qualified children. $5,460 with 2 qualified children. $3,305 with 1 qualified child, and $496 with no qualified children. Does your mother have a shopping account in your name? Oh, I almost got sucked into that. Lucky thing I avoid that. I digress. Your mother's complete disregard for your life and welfare manifests itself in a Misuse of your social security number. Have you noticed a trend in my writing? Psychopaths think about herself first in all cases, which is true. Which is why some of these women will have multiple children by multiple men and then abort the others. Some even brag that they never wanted children. That's true. I saw this within my family and outside my family among friends, that their families did this. These type of women often end up pregnant, and then she will constantly mention how she was in a prolonged labor and living in poverty as a sacrifice to ensure you had everything. Yeah, that's too much bragging rights, you fucking wasted piece of shit. Your mother is a liar and unable to accept the fact that birth control exists back in the 1960s. She's the type of woman who had a mindset, I'm not a whore because I'm not a prostitute. A lot of North American women have this mindset. That's why I keep telling a lot of my melanated brothers, date out and get the fuck out. Especially black men. Especially black men. The first step you need to do, black man, if all black men, I'll be honest with you, from the age of 18 and older, leave the inner cities. Move the fuck out the inner cities. That would bankrupt the welfare state. And that's just a small tidbit. Back to the topic at hand. When these shameless demons is faced with the truth that she committed fraud and ruined your credit, she will respond with a scorn and oh my god, and agitation towards you. She create you, therefore she can misuse you as she please. And that's what a lot of black women say. At one point, I have to tell you my new story about myself and my mom. My mother was a drug addict and an alcoholic. Yes, she was a drug addict and an alcoholic. She fell victim. My mother would have been 61 this past February. So that gives you an idea how old I am. And a lot of baby boomers of that generation failed. They were failures. Out of the 6 children my grandmother gave birth to, half them died from some form of substance abuse. Half them died before they even got a chance to see their children grow up and have and saw them have grandchildren. My mother was one of them. Where my mother saw her first, say, 5 children were grown up, the other 2 were still very young. They were still like, 8 and 7 years old. But she never got a chance to see her first 2 grandchildren. So that explains that. When I look back on my childhood, many of us poverty stricken in the inner cities were raised the same way. It's copy and paste routine, people. This is an issue in the black community, which I call the nigger community, sir, that will never be dealt with because it's countercultural to address it. And currently, the lonely lesbian and rebellious feminists, the lonely lesbians are the rebellious feminists, okay, are enjoying the fruits of their labor. Women are living their lives to the fullest off of child support payments, cheap wine, and expensive wigs. There are women right now who love writing books about cheating and infidelity, only to recognize later on that they emotionally and physically neglected their men. They will continue to produce books and videos because women are consumers and pride equals money. It's not men that's overspending money in the nigger community, black men. It's not men that's overspending money in the Hispanic community, which really there is none, but okay, Hispanic men. It's your fucking women. Your women are abruptly consumers, and they consume trash more than cash. Those who do escape are so completely damaged by the red pill, like the realization that we were destined for failure before conception for no other reason than their mothers was in heat. In an attempt to change the unchangeable, my friend. You will never see a feminist monitoring young women planting gardens in the abandoned lots or cleaning up the abandoned lots. Clean up behind your backs and have a sorority full of investors. A man will not be found. Many of these wives and sorority women are closet lesbians, and they are. And what built up this so-called nigger community, for example, is lesbianism. That's what feminism is. This is why they push the homosexual gay gender. Now, before I get homosexuals come up here and try to throw out or try to toss their illogical mindset on me, you gotta look at this point of view. Prior to the Western Hemisphere, which we at right now, and throughout the Americas, we didn't experience feminism up to the 1940s. And that was short-lived because when the GIs came home in 1948 after World War II, the men came, they took back their homes. A lot of men moved to the inner cities. I'll explain the Great Migration situation. I might have to make another video to really go further detail of that. And the rest was history. Until, I'd say, in the late 50s, with the white community, started the beatnik era. When the hippie movement, the beatnik era came in and screwed their society up to this very day. So all this shit that you see black people going through right now, we on that, like, basically, it's been since 1975. We in the middle of our second generation. It's been about 40 years since 1975 since this shit bit us in the ass. Whites was going through this since 1957. It's been more than 3 fucking generations with them. And they don't talk about this because they are accustomed to chaos. This is why I told you in the disclaimer, a lot of white males out there, it's not going to be the faith and heart. Alright. The indentation writes into as many of these up to these many of these secret societies, male or female, are homosexual in nature, such as the elephant walks, hot sauce on genitals, or passing an egg yolk from mouth to mouth, just to name a few. These are all sexual innuendos, as I'm saying. When I look back on the so-called struggles, I see a bunch of baby boomers whose mothers neglect them, chasing multiple sex partners. Oh, the free love era. That is why many of these baby boomers in the black community have siblings with different fathers and mothers as the rule and not the exception. Grandma was a whore, and rather than tell her daughter not to become harlots, that's right, she allowed them to wear tight clothing, hang out on the block. Ask yourself, why is there such a huge chasm of blacks who went to college in the 1960s and 70s, and then all these ghetto Queen Baptist church attending baby mamas who only became secretaries? You went to college, yeah, this is true. I've been asking this question for a long time. Let me read this one more time. Ask yourself, why is there such a huge chasm of blacks who went to college in the 60s, throughout the 1960s, from 1960 all the way to 1979. So we talk about 20 years here. And then all these ghetto Queen Baptist church attending baby mamas who only became secretaries. This is what I was talking about before. Black women would go to college to get a degree just to get a low paying salary based job, like a secretarial job. Why is that? Or work in the retail at customer service. And you ever notice in customer service, they don't put the beautiful black woman there. No, they keep the beautiful black woman in the department. They put the big, fat, loud, ain't your mama mammy ass, bad looking bitch in customer service. So whenever there's a dispute, she could chew them a new asshole. My last job was like that. The answer is simple. Your mother does not love you and never did. And that's true. It took me a year to wrap my mind around that concept, and I still struggle with it. She planned her sexuality encounters with your father and your siblings' fathers, and her ovulation period, and she assumed that the baby would make the man stay. Oftentimes, once a woman realizes that the man is done with her, she will take the old beaten path by having more children to receive government benefits. Case in point, in Great Britain, a higher income tax refund and a child support. They will use excuses such as they were trying for a boy even though she attends church and she has no incentive to be a chastity. Typically, when you see women with 3 children, the oldest has all the responsibility. The middle child is neglected and the baby is given extra resources. I saw that happening because I went through it. And let me give you a clear indication. Yes. Out of 7 children my mother had, I say, 7 children. She got married twice. I think at one point she was engaged, but her so-called fiance at the time was locked up. I don't know what the fuck happened. It's been 29 years, so. Case in point, out of 7 children, she has 6 in wedlock and 1 technically out of wedlock. Granted, great track record, don't get me wrong, but it's fucked up how she had at the time, a 5th child by a drug dealer piece of shit. That more likely probably he's already in jail for all I know, for all I care, and more likely probably dead. Which the fifth sibling don't know his biological father, because this was during the crack game in 1986. They will they will use excuses such as they were trying for a boy. Okay. They typically, typically when you see a woman with these children, the oldest, are neglected, and the baby given all the resources. And that's true, because the last two children that she had, either though she was married, they were given the better of their resources than versus me and the first four of her damn children from her first marriage. Ever got. Especially me, I have to fight, claw, and main people. The black mother is akin to the black the black widow, and will play that light skin, in shape, or intelligent child versus the dark skin, overweight, academically challenged child. She must control the regimes at all times. That's true. Did your mother delay your Christmas to be a selfish bitch, basically, with someone else's kids? No, my mother didn't do that. Even though there was some fucked up shit that my mother did, like I said, she had addiction of alcoholism, and substance abuse. And yeah, my mother was the product of using crack cocaine. And trust me, it becomes a social issue to a disease to a mental illness overnight. And it didn't matter how many times me and my siblings tried to take her to programs and hopefully she seek help and whatnot and counseling. It didn't do no justice. But my mother never delayed Christmas with none of her children. None. But I've seen black mothers. I even seen ghetto ass white mothers. I even see ghetto ass Asian mothers doing this. I even see ghetto ass Hispanic mothers doing this shit throughout the United States. And it's disgusting. Your psychopathic mother needs to look holier. Your psychopathic mother needs to look holy even when it is for her siblings that she secretly loathes, envies, or hates. Oh, I got that with my aunts. My aunts treated all 6 of her children like shit. And since, obviously, there's like nearly a 15, 13-year gap between my aunt, which is I think my mother's oldest sibling, or second oldest sibling, and my mother. She basically tried to compete the amount of children that my mother had. See, my mother had me when she was like 23. Okay? My aunt already got the jump off and had 3 children by the time my mother gave birth to me. But the last, say, 3 children that my aunt had, she would try to compete with my mother. No lie. My sister's birthday is on March. The middle of March. My cousin, which is her second son, his birthday was on March, 24 hours after my sister was born. My brother, my late brother, was born on the beginning, the first week of March. Her third daughter, my aunt's third daughter, at the time she was a baby, was born within that week. because my aunt knew that my mother was younger than her. So obviously my mother gonna have more children if she stayed married. Well, she did get married for the second time and had 2 more children with her late husband. He died. Okay, yeah. Your psychopathic mother needs to look holy even when it is for her siblings, and that she secretly loathes, envies, or hates, which my aunt did both. She envies us, but she hates us. This is a manifest in her mind, taking on the savior role and sacrificing your cherished holidays and birthdays with belated gifts. This is the ultimate way to teach a growing child's mind that they are an afterthought. I never had that happen to me, but I've seen it happen to a lot of my cousins. And my mother's side of the family is sick. A lot of pathetic people in that side of the family. And I see a lot of friends that grew up like that too. It's sad. I have seen young black women with their hair done and their clothes mostly come from school on empty stomachs, which serve to reinforce as they go older that they weren't valuable. This is why black women don't see themselves valuable, because their mother don't value their children. Lunch during my childhood cost $25 a month or $1 a day. But these, let's call it for what it is, but let's not scratch it out. These ghetto queen mothers will rush to sign their children up for free lunch. And that's true. Anyway, to avoid taking responsibility for their liability child. Weaves don't come from slavery, white supremacy, or desire to be white. But feminists won't tell you this because it would destroy their imaginary enemy. It comes from black mothers and grandmothers who were too busy having sex with Tom, Dick, and Harry to address young girls' hair or wash their clothing in a timely manner. Hence the odor and dingy appearance. See, I didn't have that problem while I was growing up. I remember many times as a child waking up early in the morning after a sleepover at my aunt's house. Oh, that's kind of like me right there. And the weekend staying at my psychopathic ass aunt's house. I don't even want to get into that story. Trying to figure out who the child. Oh wow. Okay, who Chad the I guess guy was laying next to, and my aunt was as I walked towards the bathroom. The girls I knew who fought us boys in elementary school, yes, you read that right. 4th and 5th grade also fist fought their own mothers. I saw that. I look back now in unbelief, and this is quite common. These women then grew up fighting constantly. And there is no shortage of this video. Okay, it's the video, and it gets kind of funky, but bear with me, people. The hardest part of many black folks is to accept that this is the way the majority of older and younger black women behave, but the truth is righteousness is rare. I gotta agree. The women who wore weaves will likely become early mothers or feminists, and so it is best to avoid them if possible. Hey brother, I avoid them for 24 years. Our hair can be extreme coarse, no shit. Sometimes only growing mid-length. Actually, that's bullshit. Certain situations, yes, I had could be extreme course. That's from not drinking a lot of water. Black people don't like to drink water. They like to drink juice. They like to like these high citric corn syrup juice and sodas. They don't like to drink water. Water people. They don't like to drink water. I drink water daily. I'm not saying that I'm not saying that you should never drink soda, but you know what? For these out of shape gladiatorial baboons, you should take a break from that sugar. You already got a fucking mentally, chemically imbalanced handicap in your fucking brain. Or sometimes only go yeah, bullshit. A woman who tells you she wears a weave to change up her look is not being true to herself. And if she mentions that it is too much work to do her hair, she is simply lazy and reciting her mother's robotic excuses from childhood. That's true. The ultimate insecurity is something uncontrollable like physical features. Once a person is defeated at heart, only God can give them the strength to overcome their self-loathing. If you were raised in a ghetto as a young man, then 10 times out of 10, you will have a desire to save this type of woman and show her self-worth. I wouldn't. I left Brooklyn at the age of fucking 10 and moved to the burbs in New York back in 1989. And I never looked back. I never moved back to the city. Yeah, granted, I stayed there over the weekends, you know, with my uncle and my dad, but that was about it. But I never moved back. It will end in failure. Only God save people. That's true. And people keep believing that imaginary daddy, that imaginary sky daddy. The only reason women refuse to remove a synthetic or human hair extensions is pride, which blinds them from accepting daddy wasn't the issue. Mama actually kept you from your father with her bad attitude, lies, and nagging. The same goes for women who adorn themselves with expensive handbags, scarves, luxury cars, makeup. My brothers, when you see this, just walk the other way. She needs attention, and the first time you become needy or neglect her by virtue of human nature, she will find a side dude friend to do so. I know 2 brothers who slept with the same girl and neither knows who the real father is. I know many men with children who clearly receive their height, skin color, and mannerisms from another man, but the woman sits idly in silence. Oh my God, that sounds so fucking familiar. I've seen that all the time. I know men burdened down with guilt from not being able to provide for their children. Oh, I know this very well. Through the sense of children look nothing like him. That's true. I don't care if she's a lawyer, doctor, or invested banker. Your emotions will come second, and there is 30% chance of a parental fraud. Fact. Beauty is only inside. Women should wear dresses, express their opinions in private, and be modest. This is not about salvation, but about desire to do the will of all that bullshit. If you put this way, for black women out there, if you want to be treated as a desirable chick, you're gonna have to be feminine. That's basically all he's saying. Oh my goodness. Okay. When you become age, did your mother give you some of her house duties, but would withheld some others? I see this at my aunt's house when I was growing up. Oh, okay. That was the side dude, okay. I couldn't read it very well because of the cross-out thing, alright. So, the little topic says right here, when you became of age, did your mother give you some of her house duties, but would withhold some others? Typically, young men did outside chores growing up, like trimming the hedges, taking out the trash, and cutting grass. But now that you were a little older, you need to contribute so mom could go gossip on the phone or go visit Chad Thundercock, her boss. Yeah, okay. Yep. The nature of she will find Chad Thundercock. Okay. Yep. Young man, did your mother teach you from a young age you were incompetent and clumsy? I heard that a lot. For instance, she would allow you to sweep and mop, but when she criticized your work, perhaps that pushed you to work harder for her affection by attempting to wash dishes or clean the windows. Perhaps you desire to become something other than a blue-collar worker, but she laughed and scoffed at your dreams. Many times in black families, the black woman worked in a consortium against the black man child. So when one sister hates you, they all hate you. It's a practice, young black man. You gotta realize this. This is what black women are taught to do. Like I said, the center of the spider web when it comes to white supremacy is your Negro woman. Matter of fact, any woman that worship the term and the practice of whiteness and white culture, that's including Asians. Your woman is an Agent Smith by proxy. The goal is to break your will. You will have new Jordans, fake friends, and no ambitions. See, I never gave in to the Jordan shit because I could care less about the Jordans back then. Never owned a pair of Jordans, never will. For the black man searching for love, he is already native to this, so his mother and sisters will work overtime to control his personal desires. This is early programming for young black men in the hood, so that you find women who is not quite approving and submissive to you and your lifestyle. That's true. I encourage you to take a break from reading this. Fuck this. That Bible bullshit. Ultimately, our young black man will become attracted to women who give them a challenge, but really they are suckering them dry emotionally, and they are fueled by discontent and low self-esteem. Hence the term simps. And simps pertains to anybody here. Let me say this again. I'm going to generalize all westernized men here. Ultimately, our young westernized men will become attracted to women who give them a challenge, but really they are sucking them dry emotionally, and they are fueled by discontent and low self-esteem. The end result is a man who pours his heart and soul into a never satisfied psychopath who nags him to death. These are the women who ruin any kind of fun a man can find because she simply can't. Feel free to insert your own scenario. This is for all men right here. Now, back to the scheduled regulatory program. Did your mother not nurture you physically or when you were sick? See, I didn't have that problem either. It's funny, you figure in my situation, my mother was an alcoholic and a drug addict, and you figure I would not be nurtured. You figure my mother would have pretty much sexualized me, which she didn't. She only did, like, say, I'll be honest with you, maybe between 30 to 40% of your typical North American black woman did. I digress. Do be confused because your mother and her prayer warriors would say kind words, but their actions would be lackluster. I remember many days being sick in bed, and my mother would use it as a free off day to watch television drama, like soap operas. I don't ever remember being held when I was sick, or even in the evening, as many children often like to be cuddled before bed. My mother would always be sick or say I couldn't lay my head on her lips because I would cause her damage there from my birth. So she was always sore or had a headache. If you met a woman who always sore and sick and so forth, she is a liar and playing you for a fool. That's true. This affects the subconscious of many black men, especially when we meet what we deem a nice college-educated woman we could build with or have companionship with. These men will pursue marriage where they expect the wife to say, I'm tired, I feel fat, and I'm sore, and find themselves initiating intimacy alone. That's true. These are all completely legitimate excuses in the man's eye, but it is nothing more than a fractal vomit instilled by our mothers. The black mother teaches her son he is on his own from a young age. That's true. Your mothers will try to bully you out. Like literally, your mother, that was the thing I learned with my family. The women would try to bully the young men out. Then when the young men do leave and never come back, oh, now she has resentment. Now she wants her to come back. Now she needs a man in the house. What happened to Chad Thundercock? What happened to that fella? What happened to Tom, Dick, and Harry that you was fucking at church during your pastime? Why they can't help out in the house? I'm telling you, man. The black mother teaches her son that you're on your own from a young age, and that affection is a reward given by the whim of women. This is how simps start, fellas. I've seen this happen to a lot of white males during my childhood growing up with a lot of white friends. And I saw this a lot with a lot of Hispanic males, especially a lot of Hispanic males, and Asian men as well when I was growing up. These are the same women myself and many other young brothers in our days would fornicate with at a moment's notice with no drama or strings attached. And you wonder why there's no good man on black woman? You keep doing this shit to young black men at a young age, and you expect black men when they become men, oh, you gotta rescue us and you gotta be men and make her submit. No, fuck you. I don't need to make you submit. You either submit to me or you don't. I don't force free will, bitch. These same women will get married and then become prudes, withholding emotional and sexual intimacy. Yeah. Intimacy. Yeah. Oh, goddamn, I'm out of it today. Intimacy. I don't know one black baby boomer, Generation Y or Generation X male, who was allowed to play in his own home as a child. Mama's furniture, figurines, clutter, or TV shows were more important, so she forced them and continues to force her young sons and daughters into the arms of the streets. That's true. You know what? I'm going to be going to work in like, say, 50 minutes. Stay tuned for part 2. This is G331979 here. And this is black male children of a psychopathic woman. Cause and effect part 1. Stay tuned.